cover story for May is an interview with Minda Dutler, writer, advocate, and the first female wheelchair athlete Ironman triathlon finisher. Also included in this annual mobility-themed issue are topics ranging from equine therapy to public transportation. Sign up to receive this and every issue for free at epmagazine.com.
Oscar Mike Radio is a proud podcast partner of Reach Across America Radio, heard every Thursday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern. They're also big supporters of the nonprofit I Got Your Six, Two Lives at Once. And with every wreath you sponsor through Oscar Mike Radio, $5 goes back to this great organization dedicated to making a difference in the lives of veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, and first responders battling PTSD. Two Lives at Once pairs these brave men and women together with dogs rescued from kill shelters. In this way, two lives are saved at the same time by saving each other. Donate now. Go to reachacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio to help. That's reachacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio.
Suicide is preventable, and each of us has a role to play in suicide prevention.
Suicide is complex. There is no single cause.
And it's not always a mental health issue. It could be loss of a job or home, financial or relationship issues, pain, or leaving the military.
Suicide does not discriminate. It affects all ages, races, and genders, veterans or not.
If you know a veteran who is struggling, connect with them. Let them know help is available.
There is quick and easy access to services in times of crisis.
Dial 988, then press 1. Talking about it is okay.
Don't keep it inside. Don't be ashamed. Don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Hello and welcome again to Oscar Mike Radio. My name is Travis. I'm a Marine Corps veteran and your host. Oscar Mike Radio is part of the Hubazoo Network. You can find out more on hubazoo.com. I want to thank my sponsors, Joyce Asack of Asack Real Estate, Army National Guard veteran Mark Holmes, Reapers Detailing and Power Washing, and my supporters, Caisson Shaving Company, Exceptional Parent Magazine, and Black Cat Designs. And it's May, it's getting ready to be the official start of summer. Memorial Day is coming up, and I have a special guest for you right now. Army veteran, West Point graduate, and now works for Stonebridge Financial Group. Brian McCarver has some special things going on. I'm pleased to talk with him and his assistant, Morgan Emery. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Oscar Mike Radio.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate this opportunity to chat with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Reached out and I'm like, this is great. Learned a bit about the company and then about your career, sir, and what you did and how all that works. I've talked to a couple West Point graduates on here. I met a couple in my Marine Corps time, so it's always a pleasure and honor. And I can't wait to get started. Yeah. So let's start at the beginning. You go to West Point in the early 90s. What was that like?
Yeah, it was an interesting transition in life. I'll say it that way. My family had spent some time serving the military. In fact, I had some family members who were in the military, but also who had attended West Point. So you think you're prepared, but you really weren't prepared. And I guess same goes for anybody moving from civilian life into military service. You could have somebody explain what boot camp is like, but until you're there at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's a different experience. So, but no, it's definitely a period of my life that I look back on fondly. I joke and say that West Point's a beautiful place to visit, just don't stay for 4 years. So, but it was a very an important phase of my life, and happy to have had the privilege to attend and then serve my country afterwards.
And where did you go after West Point? It's really interesting. It's not just a tradition. There's all kinds of jobs in the Army you can do after West Point. So what did you do?
Yeah, my philosophy was if I was going to be in the military, I wanted to do something that you couldn't do in the civilian world. So I actually became an infantry officer and was able to attend some schooling in Fort Benning, Georgia, often known as the land that God forgot, and then spent about a year there doing some training and some preparation for my duty station, which was in Vicenza, Italy. And then I spent another year at Fort Benning, Georgia, and that was when I PCS'd. I came out of the military and I moved into this industry in this role, and working in the wealth management industry back in my hometown.
Okay. So, I was a terminal lance. It's a long story, but a lot of us enlisted, regardless of what service we're in, think that when officers get out, there's a red carpet, a stretch limo shows up, and you all have the business suit from, Joseph A. Bank waiting for you, and life is easy for you. Now, I don't know if that's how it is for you, but some officers tell me that it's not necessarily a rose garden for them either. What was your transition experience like going back home and working in a different field?
Yeah. Any transition is going to be stressful to some extent. Mine was capped by I had a child the year before, so we were transitioning, not just me and my wife and my 2 dogs, but a young family member as well. We did have the benefit of moving back to my hometown, where we had my family and my in-laws that were there to support us and help us and sort of welcome us and smooth over the rough edges of transition. But yeah, it's a stressful period of time for anybody to change careers and to relocate. But it went reasonably well. That is funny that you said the Joseph A. Bank suit, because I actually had to go out and buy a few. I did buy them one size larger than I currently was, because I knew my level of activity was going to change after being in the military for about 5.5 years.
So wait a minute, sir. You go from, learning, telling other soldiers where to shoot, where the enemy is, and, not getting lost, tongue in cheek, to going into wealth management, which kind of like me, it's kind of funny how our paths are similar. The two don't mix very often at that level. I have to ask, what led you to go into wealth management as a career choice after your transition out?
Well, to complicate the topic even more, I was a mechanical engineer major while I was at the United States Military Academy. So there's not a direct line between being a Mechie major, an infantry officer, and a financial advisor. But there are some similarities. I mean,
Sure.
it's all problem solving. It's all dealing with people. And my initial days in the wealth management industry were not in a team format, but now we have 25 people in our company, and leading people is the same no matter what uniform or color hat you put on. So it all sort of wove together. What this industry, first of all, I was interested in the capital markets and financial planning in general, but what this industry did was do the opposite of what the military did, which took my wife and my family away from my hometown. This industry was an industry, if you enter it and you succeed in it, you're going to establish some pretty deep roots to a locality. This locality was important to me for my raising my kids and my family in this hometown. So it was a professional interest, but it was also a family-oriented decision to move back to this area and start in this industry. And I did have some opportunities, or I made some connections to some of the transition companies, and I don't remember the exact names of them, but there were some transition companies that helped junior company grade officers transition into industry, manufacturing industry, specifically, but other Fortune 500 companies. And that was an option, but to me, that was just changing which uniform I had on. If I had to work for a major Fortune 500 company, I wasn't going to be in one location very long. And that was important to my wife and myself to raise our kids and our family back in the hometown with grandparents and all that.
You've been in the wealth management industry for a while, and it's changed just as much as the military has changed. You know, I work for, in the financial industry myself. So as it's changed, how have you changed to adapt to different regulations, different things like AI and machine learning, making trades and processing things, and automation? I mean, I'm just curious here.
Yes, it has changed. It's changed significantly. Everything from the way you trade, the way you offer products and services, and I think it's changed for the better.
Yeah.
But the changes that have happened in the past, I'd say 25 or so years since I've been in the industry, have been significant compared to the past, 100 years of change in the markets and the capital markets and the way investors access them. It is an institutionally driven world today, as opposed to 75 years ago. It was individuals buying 100 shares of IBM or whatever stock they wanted to buy. But I do think in totality, the changes benefit the end user, which is the investor. Certainly, we help families make decisions about financial topics. Some people do it on their own, but the collective nature of these changes has improved the investor experience. That's not a perfect outcome, but I do believe in general the efficiencies achieved by technology. I don't know where AI is going to take this industry. I don't know where AI is going to take our country. But at the same time, if used properly and ethically, I do believe it's going to improve how even we can operate our business and how we can deliver quality advice to our clients.
Now, maybe I got a little ahead of myself, but have you worked for Stonebridge for the majority of your time after the military?
I did transition and I worked for a major wirehouse, and then made one career change to a different wirehouse to join a team. And then I've effectively been on that team ever since October of 2000. So while my name and the name on my business card changed from company ABC to XYZ, I more or less sat in the same desk. I dealt with the same clients since 2020. My longtime business partner, John Freeman, joined the team in January of 2002, and we've been like brothers ever since, working together, trying to achieve the same goal, which is a successful, thriving, growing financial advisory firm. So it's not quite exactly Stonebridge, but for 24 years now, it's been 23 and a half years. It's been the same people and the same clients. Yes.
And you're not in the New York, Boston corridor. You're further south, correct?
Correct. We operate two offices, one in South Central Pennsylvania in Harrisburg ish area. We're right across the river from Harrisburg, and then we have another branch in Lancaster, looking to grow in cardinal directions as things continue to improve and we attract really strong talent. But yeah, it's sort of a nice sized firm, but my guess is it's going to get continue to grow and get bigger over time. I have the great fortune of being the oldest person here. I'm about ready to turn 55, so I have I guess that's a good fortune. Although I bemoaned to Morgan climbing up the stairs this morning. I told her not to get old because your body hurts every time you have to walk up the stairs.
It's not right, sir. It's not the years, it's the miles.
Yes, that's true.
It is the miles, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I have been fortunate to find a great business partner in John Freeman, and the other directors in the office are exceptional contributors to the team and the team's success. And we keep hiring really strong talent that I think will easily push this business to, 2 and 3, 4 times the size of this in the next decade or two. So
you served the military, you got out and you went through that transition period and found your home, in the vernacular, and then you get settled in and you establish yourself. When did giving back and advocacy become a focal point in your, personal and professional life, Brian?
yeah, I admittedly, it took much longer than it should have. I mean, internally, I struggled with my transition occurred several years before the global war on terror started in 2001. By 2001, I was, knee deep in what I was doing. But my peers, from my classmates to people I knew regionally, were serving and deploying, and they weren't deploying for brief periods of time. They were deploying for, 6, 12, 15 months at a time. They were coming back wounded. So to me, it was something I knew I had to do something for the veteran community, but also in totality, our practice has a mindset that we need to give back to the community that is providing us the resources to succeed and grow in our business. We may not be directly giving back to the clients that are ours, but we give back to the community that is supporting the financial success of all of our clients. So it's an important part of our team's mission, actually, but also that's sort of the origin of it, was knowing that when I was working in the capital markets and the private wealth industry, which, I've benefited tremendously from the freedoms and the liberties and everything this country has offered. I did serve. I didn't serve in combat. I didn't serve for extended tours of duty. So I knew it was incumbent upon me to do something with those who had. We all pay a price, but some just pay a little bit price greater than what I think I had paid. So.
Sure. So you start this pathway to advocacy with your firm, and looking you up and understanding what you've done. I was there when you said clay shoots. I'm like, when can I go? How did you come up with the idea to you? I mean, it's a brilliant idea, and here's my problem, Brian, is I love that kind of stuff. And I'm worried that if I really dip and jump all the way into clay shooting, I'm going to get hooked like some of the other guys I know who get hooked, and it becomes a fever and an infection that never leaves them. Like, they plan their family outings around getting to the range, right? So I'm scared of it in that regard. But where did that idea come from? Because to me, what's better than a clay shoot on a Saturday afternoon?
Yeah. Well, I'm not exactly sure the origin of my connection to shooting clay pigeons, but I love being outdoors, period. So being outdoors was an easy part of the decision. I think it comes down to, while I enjoy golf, I don't really feel passionate about golf. And it just seemed like sporting clays and people who support veterans, there was a little bit more of a intersection there. Although, I mean, there's a lot of great people who golf that support veterans as well, but it just seemed natural to me to get a shooting event together with companies and others that support veterans causes. And it was something, back to, I knew I had to do something, and I was like, I'm going to do a shoot someday. I'm going to do a shoot someday. I'm going to do a shoot someday. And then it was January of 2022. I'm like, hey, we're going to do a shoot this year. And my company stood up a lot of, preparation and activities to get it all together. We had very warm reception from the community and the people that we work with, and even our clients decided to support the endeavor. So it's a lot easier for me to pull a shotgun trigger and hit a little orange target than it is for me to swing a golf club and hit a little white ball. I'll say it that way.
Nice. So you do this first one in 2022, and it was received well. I mean, how many people did you have show up to participate?
Oh, I'm going to say we had around 30 teams, maybe high 20s, 30 teams. So we had maybe we had high 20s teams, but we had maybe 120 or so people participate in terms of being fed and being involved. And the day's activity is designed to raise money for for a national charity. The preparation and the entry fees and stuff end up going for a local charity. But it was a great turnout. I was really actually back in 2022. One of my biggest concerns was finding ammo. That was like the crux of
Right?
yeah. That was like I was really concerned that we were going to put all this effort and time and tell everybody, hey, we're going to have a shoot, and I couldn't find enough shotgun ammo. But fortunately, we found some pieces here, there, and everywhere that we put together to have enough ammo. And that's one of the first things that we do every year is make sure we have enough ammo. But back in 2022, the supply chain interruptions and some of the
Right.
problems of just acquiring things, well, shotgun ammo was one of those things. It was hard to come by.
So 2022 worked, and then did you do it again in 2023?
2023, yes. Again, I alluded to the fact that we support two charities, one local, which has consistently been supported, and then one national charity, which we change year in and year out. So 2022 was the first year, last year the second year. This will be our third year. I've put a little bit of a flag in the ground and say we're going to do this for at least 10 years. I don't know if it will continue on, but that puts me doing this for this one and 7 more. So we'll see how well this continues to grow and be welcome.
So tell me the story of how the beneficiaries of your efforts are chosen locally and nationally, please.
Right. Well, my intent was to do something regarding helping veterans in some method or fashion. And I had always envisioned helping a national organization. I didn't know which one. I just knew I was going to help one. And I had one in mind. But when I asked my team, a team member had said that there was a local organization starting up. A local nonprofit was starting with the sole purpose of creating a home for homeless veterans by building small, tiny homes type structure, but also providing some services. They introduced us to Veterans Outreach of Pennsylvania, led by Tom and Lisa Zimmerman. I think they were the founders of it.
Yeah.
But my point is they were the ones who I first communicated to and said, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Would you guys mind participating? And they were absolutely involved from the day we first spoke. And then the first year I picked out of Tampa, Florida, an organization called the Special Operations Warrior Foundation. I had a long-term friend of mine and a classmate of mine who had spent several years operating in those units and had read stories about their involvement in the global war on terror. And I just knew the sacrifice and the level of commitment and frankly, the high percentage of casualties that those units took. That was the first organization that we were going to support at the national level. Last year, we decided to switch to the Semper Fi and America's Fund. And this year we'll be supporting Tunnels to Towers.
Now, you set these up and you've done 2 of them now. What lessons did you learn from doing year 1 and year 2 that you're bringing into year 3? Because when this airs, you're a week away from starting. So how do the lessons help you make this better?
Well, interestingly enough, I have a member of my team, exceptional member of our team, who I give, the majority of the credit to. She was an event planner and a wedding planner, but she had never done a clay shoot before. So there was a little bit of, her name is Erica Blake. She'll be organizing this year's event as well. But she took off and ran with it perfectly. There was a little bit of, discussions. There's a difference between a wedding and a clay shoot, but I mean, the big things are the same, you know, chairs and tables and napkins and beer and food and all that stuff. And she did a wonderful job organizing that. And then I do have to also compliment my team members. Even though this was my desire, my goal to give back to the community in the form of giving back to veterans, they all reached out. We have a team of 25 people now, but everybody reached out to partners and clients and people that might show an interest. And they found not only teams that would participate, but they found companies that would donate gifts for our raffle items, etc. So really, it was a team effort led by Erica, but the rest of the 20 some of us certainly contributed to the success of the past 2 years.
I gotta ask, Brian, sir, I have to ask, have you ever entertained the idea of having the clay shoot and wedding like combined? I mean, that's the next logical conclusion. I mean, right? I mean, you're doing this thing to raise money, and someone gets married the same day. That'd be epic.
That would be epic. I'm not sure I'd get any bride to join in that idea. Maybe, but yeah. No. Well, if I do, I'll come back on and I'll tell you about how we've combined the two efforts in one.
Fantastic. At the end of the day, though, your military experience and then setting roots in the community and getting involved professionally in community allows you to advocate in this way. How important it is to understand that no matter what you do from a leadership position, it's still about the people around you that make you successful. I think sometimes, all of us in the military kind of lose that.
Unquestionably, that is the truth, especially in corporate America. I think that relationships absolutely matter. Some of my deepest friendships come from the time I spent at West Point and also in the military. But relationships matter in the business world, and I think that the success of this business, this attempt to raise funds for veterans organization, has everything to do with the relationships that we've connected with other people and their willingness to trust us and have confidence in us and then support our ideas. I'm not saying that doesn't exist in the military. I'm just telling you it really, really exists in corporate America. As a result of that, people who entrust us to do our day-to-day job, it's all about the relationship. I mean, I think we're good at what we do. I think we're very good at what we do, but it's not the driving factor. I think it's all about the relationship and the trust and the confidence and the integrity that we have run our company for 20 some years. And then same with giving back to the community. When I recognize that the people who we serve, who are my clients, who have frankly helped me pay my mortgage for 20 years, sent my kids to college, paid our bills, fed us for lunch every single day. When it's those people who we're, grateful for in terms of what they've done for our business, they're just part of the same community that we're turning around and helping in some way or fashion. And while it's important to me to give back to the veteran community, everybody in our office, when we hire them, we basically challenge them with, we do give back to the community, whatever that may be. We want you to focus and drive some effort towards giving back to members of the community that you think deserve, some assistance or help or whatever. I personally have veterans as my top desire to give back to. I am drawn to outdoor endeavors, so I call it conservation, not so much environmental, but conservation activities. I love to fish and hunt and be outdoors and do anything. I bike, outdoor stuff. And then last is underserved or underprivileged children, to me, are an important part of what I want to help give back to, because recognizing the opportunities that were provided to me as growing up in a stable family in a very stable environment, having the opportunity to go to school and be fed and, go to college and come back after serving the country and build a very successful business. I know that path isn't as, I'm not saying my path was easy, but it's a lot more complicated and a lot more difficult for certain members of our society. So that's another choice of mine to give back to underprivileged or underserved children.
So thinking about what Stonebridge does from a philanthropic standpoint, what's your view? I don't want to assume, but I would assume to say that, you know, if you're this involved with giving back to veterans in the community, is Stonebridge, you know, open and welcoming to hiring veterans if they meet, you know, the qualifications on a job rec?
Yes, absolutely, unquestionably. I would be in a heartbeat willing to hire a veteran. There's a lot of veterans in our community, but I'm not going to say absolutely, but there's a lot of retired veterans in our community because there's a connection to a military facility to the west, the Carlisle Barracks, the Carlisle War College. Tends to have people more senior that go through there that end up coming back or staying in the community after the fact. But and it's not absolute. Some of those people don't look for second careers. Maybe they do. But my point is I unquestionably hire people coming out of the military. I think the military does a very good job of trying, or not trying. They teach you to understand the big picture. Unquestionably, you have to understand the big picture, whether you're a brand new private or you're a colonel in charge of a brigade or a regiment or whatever. But the idea is that you're part of a team, and knowing that you know, this is just a team here. We collectively work together to succeed as a business for the benefit of our clients. It's the same mentality.
So a lot of individuals come to me and say, you know, I didn't work, you know, I didn't work in a corporate environment before I went in the military. I didn't work in finance or anything to do with that in the military or college even, but I'm thinking about trying to apply for a job at a financial services firm. But I'm apprehensive. I mean, I think I can do the job. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a fair shake or be able to function once I get there. And irrespective of, you know, Stonebridge or the company I work for, what would you tell a veteran who's, you know, he has the workday up, he's getting ready to fill out the application, or she's getting ready to go in for that first interview? What would be some advice you could give to that person who's trying to, you know, put on a good show and, you know, put their best foot forward for a potential career change?
I am convinced that the military prepares you for a lot of job choices and a lot of options. You don't have to be an expert in something. You just have to be able to get up with a disciplined mindset and know that you got to get your work done today, and you got to work and contribute to a team, and you got to ask other people for advice. If you don't know something, you got to go to a team member. All these intangibles you're taught in the military. So you can be taught to do what we do. In fact, we hire a lot of people outside the industry, and we spend a good 2 years teaching them how to be good financial advisors. So I am certain the military prepares you for working in most or almost any industry, just because of the collective nature by which you guys, by which any service member tries to achieve, you know, the mission accomplishment for whatever unit you're in, whether you're a sailor or a Marine or an airman or a soldier. You're not working for an individual outcome, you're working for a collective outcome. So the discipline and just getting up and getting it done is that's how I hire people for that, period.
Nice, nice. So let's go back to the clay shoot event. You've done the event. People have come. People have done, you know, shot the clay pigeons. Had a lot of fun doing it. And now it's the end of the day, and you're picking up shell casings. You're cleaning up the trash. You're all the stuff that people don't see. From a personal perspective, what's going through your mind when you realize all these people came together to support what you and, on a wider perspective, Stonebridge Financial has done for the community? You know, what's going through your mind, Brian?
I would tell you it was humbling to receive the support of the people in my office, but also of the business connections that we had to come out and really help me give back to the community. It's not so much me as, I mean, everybody gave it back, but it was my idea. So to run this event, and it's been warmly received. It's very uplifting to know that other people, it's not an uncommon theme for people to support our veterans. They just don't know necessarily how to get it done or how to do it. Hiring a veteran is absolutely, that's a simple, easy one to do. But giving back to veterans, in the case of these two organizations that we're supporting this year, VOPA, Veterans Outreach, is building, as I said, some tiny homes and a service building to help the homeless veterans. Tunnels to Towers actually bought the adjacent land, and they're going to be building something very similar, structures to house homeless veterans that can avail themselves of the services, et cetera, that VOPA offers. So to give back to, like I said before, I grew up in a stable lifestyle or a stable family. I availed myself of the opportunities of attending one of our country's military academies for free. I served in the military. I left healthy. I came back. I took advantage of what was available to really, I'm not going to say every American, maybe not in equal proportions, but anybody can do what I did. I had the opportunity to do it. I succeeded. This business succeeded, not because of me, but because of our team's hard efforts. So to me, to encapsulate what my personal experience was, and then to turn around and to give back to effectively veterans who are homeless and are in need of some support, is, I think, full circle of how this country works. You know, not everybody comes out of military service and is able to transition easily and quickly and successfully. I was very fortunate. There are others that aren't as fortunate. So for me to exercise what's worked in my life, to turn around and to give back to people who have not been able to make that transition as successfully, it's what makes this country great.
But isn't it part of it, sir, where you have the person that goes in the military, officer and enlisted, or warrant officer for those special somebodies, right?
Mm-hmm.
They go in, they serve their country, and they get out and they come back to the community, raise a family, and give back to the community. In a way, that's a success story. It might not seem like it, when you're going through it. It might just seem like, hey, I'm here, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. But in a way, that's a success story, and that's the story that isn't told a whole lot because of the focus on other topics that are just as important. But still, me looking at you and other people looking at you, you're gonna be like, you know what, that's a win. Well done.
I alluded to a win really for what this country offers us as citizens, and whether you serve or you don't serve. I just think it becomes a little bit more acutely aware to those who serve the price and the cost of service. And it's not, I mean, yes, casualties, yes, people pass away, but I'm talking about today, right now. There is not a war going on per se, but there are people who are deployed a half a world away from their family. There's somebody who missed a birthday this week. There's somebody who didn't come home for Christmas last Christmas. I mean, it's all sacrifice and totality that our servicemen give. And then when they leave and they move into corporate America, they move on to their next career, availing themselves of the freedoms and the liberties that they just spent a decade or 2 decades protecting, is the total package of what makes this country awesome. I further recognize that because of what it all had meant to me, it's my turn to turn around and start helping people who didn't quite make the connection, the complete circle of transition and success. So that's why it's meaningful and important to me.
Brian, by the time this airs, you'll be a week out from year number 3 of 7 doing this. I have to think that in some way you're already thinking about year number 4 and beyond. What is next for you, Stonebridge Financial, and this effort that you're doing, in the future, please?
Yeah, I told you I'm the old guy, but I've committed to 10 of these. So I'm here. I'm going to do this. Certainly, I want that example or that idea of service, or turning around and facing back to the community and providing to the community, to be an example to other people in my company. To the extent that they want to do something, we're all in. We're going to help you. We're going to push the collective efforts of this team and our client base and our business associates and connections to help support it. I'm happy to be part of a company and part of the leadership of a company that does these types of activities. And there's a number of other activities that do the same. My business partner has been involved in a number of his own efforts and done capital campaigns and raised money for other organizations as well. I just hope our example and leadership, I know it has already reflected in actions and activities and sacrifice from other people of our team. I just want it to keep going.
Fantastic. So I'm in the Pennsylvania area. I want to find out more about Stonebridge Financial from a client perspective, or even get in on the fun of doing a clay shoot with you all. How do I, find Stonebridge Financial and connect with you all?
Yes, our webpage is www.stonebridgefg.com. And there is a, sorry, I'm navigating real quick because I'm pretty sure it is under events as the tab. And then underneath that is Veterans Clay Shoot. That takes you to an entry form that you can enter a team or participate or whatever. I've even had the benefit of clients who support veterans activities just write a check. So if you desire to support just the organization itself, Veterans Outreach or Tunnels to Towers, I don't need credit for it. Just go ahead and go onto their organization's websites and give money to those organizations as well. But that's how you look us up. That's how you find what we do, how we do it every day, but also the different events and the different community outreaches that we do as Stonebridge Financial Group.
Brian, it's really a pleasure getting to talk with you and learn about Stonebridge Financial and the work you all do, not only from a professional standpoint and servicing those clients at a high level, but also the fact that you can, no matter who you are, where you are in your career or personal life, give back to your community, give back to something you believe in. So I just want to thank you for sharing so openly and candidly. And like I said, I shoot clays and I feel the pull. It's a pull, Brian, and I'm going to get hooked. And I'll have to come down there one year and try my hand at it. But I just want to thank you for coming on and talking with me. I will have all the links to Stonebridge Financial, social media and otherwise, in Oscar Mike Radio show post. And I just want to thank you and your team for arranging this and coming on and talking with me.
Well, thank you, Travis. We appreciate that time you spent with us. I appreciate the mission you have at Oscar Mike Radio as well, and getting the message of like ours and others out there to the transitioning military community. And yes, if you're willing to come visit South Central Pennsylvania in a Memorial Day weekend to come, we'd love to have you.
Appreciate it.
It'd be awesome.
Well, I just wanted to again thank you and your team for a wonderful conversation. I learned a whole lot. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brian McCarver from the Stonebridge Financial Group. Check this out, support veterans, and understand how this story works. Thank you very much.
Remember, Honor teaches our mission. We care about it and we do it every day. But I think there are things that just hit you and give you a reason to go on. The theme for our 2024 from Reach Across America is Live with Purpose. It just seemed to fit in with the vows of the REAP, the 10 attributes that we feel represent our United States military. I thought, what a great opportunity to put those two things together and show our kids through how we act some of the things that can make their lives better, their communities better, and by doing that, the country better. For me, Live with Purpose, I think, is a mindset. set some guidelines, and then go out and purposefully make life different, make a change. It's an opportunity to set an example.
Thank you for listening and watching Oscar Mike Radio, where our active duty service members and veterans are in action and the mission is in flight. Oscar Mike Radio is an oversized load Co-Sinister One production. If you are a veteran or know a veteran who needs help, please dial 988 and press 1 for the Veterans Crisis Line.